Welcome to the Slice Tennis Podcast presented by Betway. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, listener, fan, friend, hello. I hope you're doing amazing. Shout out to the new year. Shout out to 2025. We do have a lot of new viewers, I would think, after our Denis Shapovalov and Felix Auger-Aliassime interviews that just dropped. So y'all got to go check those out.
Because we kept going back to the same Italian restaurant. And there was this like OG, like I think he was like the manager of the restaurant or something, like super Italian guy. Great guy. And we kept going back and he was like a huge fan of tennis and stuff. And that night he's like, well, you tell the crowd to shut up. You know, he like completely butchers it. Like we were dying. We have it like on tape and everything. We were cracking up. He was like, he was so good. So shout outs to him. I hope his restaurant's doing well, honestly.
Yeah.
You guys are great guy. To each other all the time now. Like you must just say that to each other.
What's that?
You guys must just say that to each other now.
Oh, we did for like a year. It was like a good year where we were saying, to shut up.
That is so funny. Check out our previous podcast. Check out Steven's clips. Check out Steven's bets that he puts out on social media on the Betway feed. But today we have another awesome show for you. We'll get into a little bit of our weeks, and then we're going to preview the Australian Open, our top 5 people we think are going to win, and then we'll also talk about some sleepers and some underdogs that could make some noise in this year's tournament.
Australian Open Power Rankings.
Power Rankings.
The power.
Go ahead and you're watching this right now. I want y'all to leave a comment. It can't be Alcaraz or Sinner. If Alcaraz or Sinner don't win, who is the next person you guys would pick to win the Australian Open? I don't want to see any Sinners or Alcarazes in the comment. I need the sleepers. I need us to show love to the other guys. So leave that in the comments right now.
I love it. I think it's honestly a great question. I don't think it's very obvious. Like a lot of people might think, oh, it's Djokovic, but Zverev he had a great end of the year last year, and he's looking ominous as always. So he's never won a major though, so that makes it you don't really know what to say. So yeah, stay tuned to the back half of this where we talk about our power rankings, and I'm excited to see what JP's are because I honestly don't know what his are.
I know. I was cooking them up at work when we kind of decided on what we were gonna do. But before we get into it, do we need to go over our weeks? Do we have any big things happen in the week?
Yeah, my week, I guess, was what did it happen? It was like the new year, kind of back into a little bit of routines. I'm doing dry January.
Let's go. Me too.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
I had the funniest quote today at work. So I had a client. I was like oversharing with them randomly. I was like, hey, I'm doing dry January just because I'm kind of like, feels good to just do a challenge. And honestly, during the breaks, I just like the break. I love the break. And I was like, I just feel like I was having 1 or 2 almost every day for like 3 weeks. So I didn't feel healthy,
Right.
It wasn't getting out of control or anything, but I told our client this and she goes, oh man, I wish I drank enough to need to do dry January.
Man, that's tough.
I was like, it was funny. I was like, that's a great, she's like, and she said it in a funny way. She's like, I wish I drank enough to need to do dry January. And she was like, I was like, that's a funny way of saying that. Like that was from the top rope. I feel like.
I know. I mean,
like, oh, so you judging me.
Right. And I mean, I see what she's saying. I'm also doing dry January, but it's like it's not going to be that hard for me. I don't really drink that often. My only upcoming problem is a wedding, not this weekend, but next. So it's like that will be my one challenge for the month, really. And if I can just hold strong through that, then I'm solid. Yeah.
Mine's like getting through lunch without the shakes, but I'm just kidding. That's,
I got to make it to noon.
Yeah. It's not make it to midnight. It's make it to noon.
Yeah, cut it in half.
No, but on a brighter note, just life. January's here. We had the sun come out in Victoria. Where I live, it's like cloudy all the time. And I've been like railing on this for like people who live here or who were born here, like don't get that it's just cloudy every single day in winter. They're like, why do I feel sad? I'm like, well, you haven't seen the sun in like 3 weeks, like, and it's rained 90% of those days. So
I couldn't do it.
I know. So there's that, and I was from Kamloops, which is like the Palm Springs of Canada, which people are gonna roast me in the comments for saying, but it's true. It's like the Joshua Tree of Canada. So it's very sunny, semi-desert technically, Sierra Nevada desert, the northernmost point. So I'm not used to it, but other than that, New Year, days are getting longer. I'm feeling good.
Right.
Yeah, obviously the hype going into the Australian Open is like palpable at this point. So I'm completely refreshed, ready for the new swing, this new season, the Australian Open and the Aussie swing.
I love it, dude.
How about your week, JP? What was going on?
On this end today, again, nothing crazy that stuck to the ground, but it was snowing again, which this would be our second light flurry that we've had, and we have snow allegedly coming on Friday. So I got my. I didn't know if I had it in here, but my sled is ready to roll. One of my friends texted me today. For the people out there that play Fortnite, whatever games, I'm not a huge gamer, but he texted me today. He said, "Hey, I got my Amazon order. I just ordered a sled. Where we dropping on Friday?"
Yeah.
How's that look? Send him the 2 locations. So I'm ready. I'm ready to get out there on the sleds. Got my winter clothes ready. So
sleds are so chaotic. Like, do you have any memories of like, because really people get on these slides, these vehicles, and they just go. And there's like people everywhere sometimes, and it's just like it's one of those things where you're like, should this be illegal? Like on certain hills, like people are getting killed. Like, do you have any memories of just like taking people out or getting taken out?
I mean, it's not like we did definitely growing up. There was a hill in my neighborhood called King George. And, like we tried to make a ramp one time and it was just like a dumb thing where nobody is going to get air off of it. We're like 8 years old. We don't know how to make a ramp.
Right.
And so, just like standing a little bit too close to the ramp and the person plops over in full speed, just takes your legs out. But there's a hill in Nashville. It's at like the state capitol.
Yeah.
So it's called Capitol Hill. And I went last year and like it cannot be legal to sled down this hill how fast you go. Because
like one of those big wooden toboggans with like 10 people on it. You're like, how?
I know, dude, but this hill, like I almost for sure got a concussion if I didn't. My neck held up, but I was going face down and it's pretty bumpy. And I hit like a pretty significant size bump. And in the video of me, like my head goes straight down. It looks like I just eat it. Yeah. Luckily, I did not. But that was like the one hill in my older, like, in my 20s where you kind of have some more wit about you of like, I don't know if I should be doing this.
Yeah.
Like this is dangerous, but it was the most fun I've ever had. So I will be back out there again this year.
Word. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. You got to live life on the edge a bit. Like I just think back to some of these sledding things where you're just like, yeah, we just get on there and really have no way of controlling where the sled goes most of the time.
Right.
And usually people like have like in Canada, obviously there's like tons of snow, not in Victoria, but
yeah,
everywhere, like in Calgary where I went to school, like snow all winter. So you just, people are smart about it. They have like, okay, go down there and walk up the hill. But there's one hill we went to, it takes like half an hour to walk up the hill. You sled down the entire way. So it's just like the amount of speed you have. And then it's like, yeah, it is just painful, but it's good so times. Weird. You can't, if you outlaw everything that's dangerous, like it's just like people are going to go crazy.
I know. But hey, if I was looking to buy a new sled and I needed some funds to do it, I might go look up Stephen and follow his Betway bets. So we have to get in our Betway bet of the day. Yeah. So I can figure out how to buy me a new sled going off of one of Stephen's picks. And yes, you already know what time it is. Hit an ace with Betway and get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses, plus 50 bonus spins no matter the result. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. Offer is only available for new customers only. Terms and conditions apply. Offer not available in Ontario. Must be 18 and up. Please play responsibly. How are we getting these sleds?
Well, obviously you got to bet the responsible way, which Betway is a huge proponent of. Don't bet what you can't lose. But I have picked correctly 6 of my last 9 picks.
Jeez.
So that's like 66%. And a lot of them are like, I don't typically take the easy ones. Like I think I got I mean, I took a couple easy ones to be fair, but like some of them were like double return. I did a parlay that was paid back plus 650 or plus 550, and then I picked João Fonseca to win, the next gen final. So that was a banger. Got screwed by Grigor Dimitrov, I will say, in Brisbane. He was looking good. I would have picked him to win, but he got injured, which is classic for him. So that's always a risk when you're picking him. But the bet I like right now, or the pick I have right now, is looking at ATP Auckland, the 250.
Yep.
Kind of one of the guys that is on a lot of people's forefront of their minds is Giovanni Impesci Pericard. His initials are GMP, but I hilariously put an H on the end of that, like MPH. If you get that,
I get it.
Have to explain the joke. Not that funny, but MPH is he's my guy. So they got him. So Ben Shelton's in that tournament, and a lot of other guys are, but Ben Shelton's the highest seed and the number one odds guy, but they got GMPH at plus 650 to win. And I'm like, that is easy money. I feel like,
yeah,
he's got like clout now around him. Like for even at Basel, when he beat Dennis and Felix, rough look for the Canadians, but everyone else and won that tournament, it was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. That's where he made his initial thing. And then it's like the break. He didn't play in the finals, but now he just came out and like, was beating a bunch of people, including Nick Kyrgios, and Brisbane made the semifinals. So now he's like not a dark horse to win these small tournaments at all anymore. I wouldn't say. He's like, no one wants to play him. And so him getting far, I could have, with Dimitrov, I could have cashed out my pick there for like a 30 or 40% return, which would like above what I bet $1, would have got like $1.50, which would have been nice for the stat padding. So Giovanni, he's gonna make it through some rounds there for sure. So I like that value in Auckland for GMPH.
We said it before, like you got to get in early on him this year because the value will be there. Eventually, the odds makers will catch up, and we won't be getting this opportunity of this type of money with Giovanni. But that's our best bet of the day.
Yeah, like I got to get like what's another good nickname for him? Like maybe in the comments below, what's a good nickname for him? Like something with a bomb in it, like G bomb, the GMP bomb. I don't know.
GMP bomb.
No.
Yeah, we could brainstorm this.
We could brainstorm a bit. Brad Gilbert always has the best nicknames, but yeah, like it's gonna be crazy to see where he lands in the draw at the Australian Open. Like, because if I'm looking at it correctly, it does depend on where his ranking is. So I got to look that up, and I forget where they actually you would, if you looked at the Australian Open entry list, which I've looked at a million times.
I know
they'll show him where, because it takes the ranking from like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's bad for the field because he's going to be. Oh no, he is. Okay. So he's the 31st seed. So he is a seeded player.
Okay.
So that means there's no way he could play like Sinner in the first round, for example.
Right.
Which I think Sinner would be fine, to be clear. But so now he's a seeded player, so now he won't play, but he's still gonna be a really low seeded player. So he could play like the 9th seed like pretty early on, for example.
Yeah.
Which no one would want to play him, is my point. Anyways, that's a lot for the best bet of the day, but that is the best bet of the day presented by Betway.
Come on. We got to get off to a good start.
Mm-hmm.
So some other people that also could have some value, we're not saying we're putting our money on them, but could be our dark horses in the Australian Open.
Right. Yes.
Would
you want to just quickly touch on what's happened in this last week?
Oh yeah.
Because there is some of these and this will kind of lead in nicely to our picks, because like you kind of see who's playing well, who's looking nice in Australia. And I've got the results here. So for Brisbane, I mean, wait, do I have these for Brisbane on the ladies? Clara Towson won. She was looking good, and if you look at the scores from Brisbane, Riley Opelka had to pull out of the tournament.
Shame, man. He was gonna win it.
I know. You feel like he was like he was looking good,
dude. He was looking so good. Like nobody is we're talking about Pericard. It's like Opelka was the OG of them, but he obviously can't move near as well. But he was, I mean, he was dismantling everyone.
But I don't know if you heard this. So Gil Gross reported this, that he said, so Pelka had 2 main surgeries in his time off. He had his hip and then he had a wrist surgery. And he said with his hip surgery, it actually gave him like better range of motion and like more strength in his like hip and groin area. So he actually feels like he's like a better mover now,
Yeah.
which is scary to think about already, because he was getting better and better at moving. And he was
Right.
like coming forward a lot. But then his wrist surgery was apparently like, he called that like a hatchet job and like almost ended his career. He almost had to retire because of like the surgeon
Oh
he
my
thought like did a
God.
bad job. But obviously it's hopefully, I mean, he did pull out of this. I don't know really what's wrong with him now, but
Yeah.
hopefully it's just like playing a lot of matches. You have to like keep your body in check. So then his wrist didn't go as well, but he actually like, you know, if he starts moving better, but yeah, I would say like crazy thing about GMP is he's the best mover out of all the big guys. And
Right.
he's like probably like the strongest too. And he has,
Yeah.
and Kyrgios says he has the biggest serve he's ever seen. So crazy,
man. So that's what was going down.
So yeah,
in their
Brisbane.
tournament.
Yeah. So Yuri Lehechka won Brisbane as a walkover, but he yeah, so he had a good week there. And then in the United Cup, the US of A. Did you see this, JP?
Oh yeah, hey, the handshake.
Yes, the US of A wins the United Cup, defeating Poland, I believe, in the final.
Yep.
And yeah, what do you think about the handshake? They beat yeah, Iga Swiatek. They're calling her a poor loser.
Well, the best part about it was Danielle Collins. Did you see her updated Instagram profile picture?
Yes, I did. That was hilarious. That is hilarious.
Look, everybody on tour should have already known this, but the fact that she now this year is pretty much playing with house money, because she wasn't planning on playing this year at all.
Yeah.
You got to expect the antics, the fun to ramp up from Danielle Collins. And that is somebody that you probably would not want to see across the net from you this year, because I feel like she's going to be playing pretty loose. Here we go.
Yeah, that's she's like, don't know if you guys noticed, but yeah, New Year, save me. I get the feeling that she's always been petty and hilarious, which is
For
great.
sure.
I love that. Not everyone has to be friends on the court. I love it. They're not. So sometimes they act like it, which is funny, but yeah,
right.
Coco Gauff looking good.
Taylor Fritz looking good.
Except against Felix Auger-Aliassime. That was a little bit of a choke job there against Felix, I will say.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, he bounced back.
That's true. It's true. We'll see how he does at the Australian Open. It's a good surface for him. So yeah, no, USA is looking good. Could be a good year for USA tennis. Like Felix said in our interview, which everyone here should go watch. They're talking about chasing Felix or Alcaraz and Sinner. Like if Alcaraz and Sinner win, or one of them wins the Australian Open, it's really starting to look like it's just a 2-man race on the ATP Tour. So it's like,
right.
Who's going to win a major this year? That's not one of those two guys, or Djokovic. Who's going to be up next? You could say Fritz. Mike, I don't know who else. I don't even really think Fritz can, but no.
I mean, dude, Fritz, like, to end last year and now going into this year, like, dude is playing insane.
Yeah, and Zverev, yeah. So Fritz could play. He's 4th in the world, which is crazy. Zverev, I got to put respect on Fritz's names. Zverev could win. Fritz could win. I don't, unfortunately, believe Casper Ruud can win a major.
Yeah, I mean, with a little lucky draw at French Open, if somebody loses.
Yeah, if he doesn't have to play, that's true. Actually, if he doesn't have to play Alcaraz, yeah, I mean, he could. Anything's possible. If you don't Alcaraz is the new guy there, I think for sure. On just in the dirt, like it's just gonna be tough. Yeah, I don't think De Minaur or Rublev or Dimitrov are gonna win a major. I still believe in Tsitsipas. Crazy enough, call me crazy,
dude. De Minaur, I just he was just playing so good last year, and he was so close a few times.
I know, but it's Anyways, we'll get into it in our into our Australian Open power rankings. But yeah, good week there for America. Good week for Clara Towson and Yuri Lehechka in Brisbane. I feel like I'm missing a week, like a tournament that happened.
Hong Kong.
Oh, Hong Kong, yeah. Mueller, I'm forgetting his first name now. He won, beating Kei Nishikori in the final of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Great result for Kei Nishikori. I would say Kei's back.
Man. He was playing great.
Let's go to live rankings and go search for Kei Nishikori. Give me 1 second here. I think people got a second for me because everyone loves Kei Nishikori. I think like really there can't be a bad thing to say about Kei Nishikori anywhere. But yeah, he's up to 74 in the live rankings.
Let's
Or
go.
just in the rankings, which is great, which gets him in the main draw of all the majors easily. And yeah, that's great. He was in a even at the Montreal tournament. I was speaking with him post match. He got a couple wins there, and he was like, "Yeah, I think he was ranked like 500 in the world when I was talking. That was like August. So
Yeah.
great turn. He's one of those guys super plagued by injuries, super pro. He's beaten like I think all the top like the big three. Like he's a legend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him, man. That one little backhand lob that he hit, like kind of off balance, it ended up being a winner. I don't know if it might have been in the semifinals, but it was all over tennis Twitter. Like Kei Nishikori turning back the clock. It was filthy.
Oh, well, he's always had that. His backhand has been one of the most automatic shots in like the history of tennis. Like just studied in like, PowerPoints and textbooks and tennis schools worldwide.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but definitely it's one of those things that if you can imitate, you're doing well. And yeah, it's great to see Kei Nishikori back.
I love it.
For sure.
Do we need to get into are we good to get into the dark horse?
Absolutely. So yeah, this is the Australian Open Power Rankings official list from Slice Tennis. We're gonna go through. Here's the format. We're gonna go through dark horses, and we've decided that this isn't dark horses to win the title, because I think especially on the men's side, the list is very short of like actual contenders to win this title.
Right.
Unfortunately, but these are like we're not even calling. What are we calling? They're calling them upset kings and upset queens. Like who are these are two players that JP and I each picking from both sides, who you do not want to play, who no players or seeded players want to play in the early rounds of these of this event. So JP, why don't you kick us off with the women? Who are your upset queens?
An upset queen for me. And we might even need I was trying to look through the list. But I know she was hurt a lot last year, but Ons Jabeur, where is she going to be seated?
Low, I believe.
I
was as I was looking this up, I was looking at that. She's like
I didn't see her anywhere, but I want to make sure I'm not missing something that I just skipped over. I know she didn't play a lot of matches last year because of the injury. And so I'm like, maybe make sure I'm not having a dumb JP moment where it's like, oh yeah, she has some.
I mean, in the live ranking, she's 40th.
Right.
So let me just check, confirm women's singles entry list. She might have a protected ranking. So but also I don't know, like she also just hasn't really played well. So no, she's 42 in the world, so she's unranked at the Australian Open.
So yes, then I'm sticking with it. Ons Jabeur is my upset queen. I think she's coming in healthy. She took some time off at the end of this past year to get right, and she also knows that Grand Slam window for her is getting smaller and smaller the older she gets, especially with her play style, how she's always moving around, making the fun shots, but it takes a lot out of you. So I'm going to go with Ons Jabeur as my upset queen. One of them.
Cool. One of them. Okay. I like that pick. Who's your other one?
My other one, I think she might technically have like one of the last seeds, but this could be the year that Maria Sakkari comes back.
Oh,
I know that she's been cold. She's lost a lot of matches, but we know that it's in her. And she's coming into this tournament differently than she has any of these other ones, because now it's like she is kind of written off. So there's not as much pressure of like, hey, you're the 8th seed. You need to at least make the quarterfinals. So I think she's going to be playing a little bit more free, and we hopefully will see the old Maria Sakkari.
I think those are both great picks, and like been a feel good picks. Like
right,
like both of them have had pressure and they haven't really got to where you feel like they'd want to get to. The thing with Jabeur is like that window is closing. Everyone feels like that when they're getting over 30, I think, and that pressure didn't necessarily make her play better in the Wimbledon finals she was in. You could say it almost made her play worse. But then Sakkari is like the same. She's had, for both those players, it's a huge confidence thing right now. So yeah, definitely you don't want to play them early. It looks like Sakkari will be the 31st seed because she was the 32nd, but then Krejcikova, Barbora Krejcikova playing, she's out, so she'll move up. But yeah, I like those picks. Those are good upset queens.
Let's go. Who do you got on the girl side?
All right, upset queens. This one's a bit. I kind of forgot how high her ranking is, so I don't think she's gonna win. That's why I put her in the upset queen. But Danielle Collins,
come on,
Danielle Collins is you don't want to play her. I'll tell you that for free. You do not want to play her. She's gonna be the 11th seed, so she will be able to play. Like she could play one of the top seeds in, I believe, the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want that still. So actually, she'll be the 10th seed with Krejcikova out. But yeah, you don't want that. She's tough. She's got that swagger going right now, obviously, with like, dead eyeing, or how, I don't know how you would call it, like the handshakes.
Yeah.
Just like swagging on. And she did the thing last year where she went up to Swiatek after she retired and was like, don't give me that fake sympathy. It's
right.
Like by Swiatek, I'd be like, yeah, F off. Like no one thinks you're injured anyways. Like go retire. I just like say that. But like Swiatek's, we want to be best friends. It's like Danimal don't play that. So no. I don't think you want to play her early. She's one of my upset queens. And the other upset queen I have is Clara Tauson.
Yeah.
In Brisbane. Great player from Denmark. Right now, fun fact, I'm reading The Danish Way of Parenting as a new parent. We're reading a book. So the Danes have a great philosophy. They got Holger Rune and they've got Clara Tauson. And yeah, she seems to be in good form. So she is probably someone you also don't want to play early on. Upset
I like
queen.
it. Would also like to give an honorable mention to, she's kind of a higher seeded. Maybe she's like 16 or something, but Mira Andreeva. I feel like this, I saw Sabalenka and Jabeur. I think they were both quoted saying, we think she's going to finish top 10 this year. Yeah. She's obviously made noise the last 2 to 3 years. Yeah. So this could be a year that kind of she put some things together too.
Yeah, definitely. She's unbelievable. So yeah, should we go into it? Let's go through the women then. I guess who's your fifth woman on your power ranking list?
The 5th person on my power ranking list is Rybakina, and it's solely because of the health. So if she's healthy, I would probably have her higher up on my list, but I just truly don't know where she's at with it all. So right now I've got her at 5.
I love how you said her name properly, Rybakina.
Yeah, hey, I'm getting better.
Well, did you look up the pronunciation on the website?
No, was that wrong?
Or did you just hear me say it?
I heard you say it
in the past. Okay, well, I've looked it up because it's been a big thing. Like when she started to come out, everyone's like Rybakina. Because if you read it, like fair enough, it's like it is a like if you read it, you would think Rybakina. No, you wouldn't think that. You would think Rybakina as an American,
right?
Or they were saying Rybakina like at the beginning, and then you go. The good thing on the WTA website, if you go to her profile, they have all the players say their name, so like no one has to guess. She goes Elina Rybakina, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And yeah, so I said Rybakina, and everyone's like, you're saying it wrong. I'm like, I just kept posting links. I was like, receipts.
Nothing better than being able to post a link as a clapback.
Nothing better. There's not. Remember when me and Pavi G were going back and forth at it?
Yeah. Y'all had the crazy receipts going.
Anyways, okay, so yeah, that's your 5th is mine. Okay, so my number 5 power ranking woman is Qinwen Zhang. Qinwen Zhang, I believe she made the final last year.
She did.
Right?
She did.
So, people are thinking, is she going to make it one further? I don't know. I can't see the future, but she's the 5th seed, and yeah, loves the surface, plays well. She's from China, obviously, so this is kind of her home slam. It's the Asia Pacific Slam. And yeah, she's in a good spot to be a real contender for this title, I think. And she's not a pretender. She could win it.
I love that. She is also in my list, but she is not my number 4.
Okay.
I do have Iga in my number 4 spot.
Wow.
I know hard court, maybe we don't know how to feel about her, as we know probably who my number 1 could be, but you can't rule her out. She's fast. She was training with Sabalenka in the off season, who is the queen of the hard court. So I wouldn't feel right leaving her outside of my top 5.
Well, yeah, that would be. You might have some people in the comments coming for you if you left her outside of the top 5. But at the 4 seed, I like it. And actually, that's also who I have at my 4 seed.
Let's
So
go.
both got Iga Swiatek as the 4th seeds, and for a while there, like in 2022, that's when she really went crazy and won like every match for like a
Right.
super long time. It would be kind of crazy to think of it as now, but she's really become, the clay court most dominant player on clay for sure. But then on the hard courts, she can get beat for sure.
Right.
Or mainly on the grass. On the hard court, she's better than the grass. But yeah, this Australian Open's quicker than the U.S. Open, so I think she leaves her even more exposed. So I got Iga Swiatek as my 4th seed in the power rankings.
Let's
How about
go.
number 3, JP?
Number 3 was your number 5, Qinwen Zhang.
Okay.
I have her number 3 because of all the reasons you're talking about. I got to believe that last year's final has left a bad taste in her mouth. She had a great 2024. She got close a lot of times. She medaled at the Olympics. So I do believe she's got some good momentum headed into the 2025 Australian Open. So she is my number 3.
I like that. The Olympic medal is a good point. I did not think about that. No, but I still feel confident where I got her at number 5. Maybe a little disrespect, some people think, but I got her at number 5, and that's her ranking. So what else do you want? Like, I feel like that's
right.
Pretty, you can't get
fair.
mad. You can't, like, the numbers, as Felix said about who's the GOAT, the numbers don't lie, which I personally disagree with for the GOAT argument, but that's another topic. Okay, so my number 3 in the women is your Coco Gauff.
3 seems low.
3 seed might seem low when she is does it seem low when she's the 3 seed? But I've got her accurate to her ranking. Numbers don't lie, and I didn't feel I could put her above my number 2 or my number 1. So people are probably thinking, okay, well, Iga Swiatek's actually the number 2 seed, so who do I have in the number 2? You're gonna have to wait to find out. But Coco Gauff, I believe she's made, someone on Twitter, I can't confirm this, I haven't talked to anyone, but they say that she hired a forehand specialist, and she's made a grip change with her forehand, which I love. From just watching it a little bit, I think it's more. So JP, for this is a little lesson for the viewers.
Right.
So if you hold, like, you're gonna hold a hammer, and hammer in a nail, that is like what you would typically volley with at the net. That's called your continental grip. So in the old days, they would hit like their forehand with that grip and their backhand. That's kind of why it looked like it's beside them when they're hitting it in the old days.
Right.
And now it's like on your forehand, you tilt the racket forward and you hit out in front of you, and you get that way more spin, way more. So to me, it seemed like Coco always had a fairly continental grip for a modern player. So that's why she kind of was always like hooking it. She was like doing this weird forehand, and then it would just go long or it would be short and then get attacked. It seems like she's changed the grip to be more Western, which is more along the lines of what most players have, and she can like hit it better. So that makes her dangerous, obviously, because she's probably the best athlete in that group.
Right.
And if she can have a forehand that's way more reliable and she can actually do damage with it, it's just that, that's going to complement her game. I still didn't feel like I could put her higher than number 3, but those are my reasons why I'm confident that she can actually win this.
You'll see confidence, and you'll realize where I have Coco after I tell you my number 2.
Oh my gosh. Who's your number 2?
Sabalenka.
Stop it.
I have to.
Stop it. Sorry,
I know.
Who won this tournament the last 2 years? Just to remind me. I don't think I was watching.
I don't care about the past, man. And look, I know we were talking about, hey, let's put down who, like, the favorites to win are, power rankings, all this stuff. But how you expect me to be looking through the list and see that red, white, and blue, 50 stars, 13 stripes next to Coco Gauff's name, and leave her in the second spot after she finished 2024 so strong and has started 2025 so strong. So for that reason, I have Sabalenka at number 2. I guess you already know who my number 1 is.
Yeah,
but I had to do it.
Wow, that's a big call there. And I think you ask how you could do it. Well, you could see through your American lenses. That's how I could say you would do it. But I do like a pick that's not the obvious, and Coco Gauff being your number 1 is not the obvious. But you might look like a genius in 2.5 weeks when we look back, depending on how she does with that forehand change. I think it's possible. So Interesting stuff. What do you guys think? Sabalenka number 2 for JP, Coco Gauff number 1.
Home
And for
cooking.
mine, I've got Elena Rybakina at number 2. And therefore, I think you guys can all tell, unless I left Sabalenka out of my top 5, which would just get me killed. She is my number 1. Sabalenka, I believe 2-time defending Australian Open champion, defending US Open champion, world number 1. To me, she's the clear favorite to win. But Elena Rybakina, you know what I like? Is the fact that she's got Goran Ivanisevic and Stefano Vukovic still in her camp. People don't know what's going on. And one thing that really grinds my gears is, and I don't know if Pam Shriver has more information than I do, but do you know where I'm going with this?
I think I have an idea. But
so Pam Shriver essentially came out that she had an inappropriate relationship with her coach growing up. I believe she was over the age of consent, so it wasn't like illegal, but like,
but I don't know if this is where the side you want to stand on.
I know, but like, maybe it was. So it wasn't that. So, but she came out that she had this inappropriate relationship with her coach, who, as a woman to male, older male, she felt like that was a position of power, and it's inappropriate in the pro tennis circuit. And they say that that's like rampant in women's tennis.
Yeah,
as you can kind of understand why. You guys spend a lot of times together. Like, to me, I don't really know if there's anything wrong with that. Like, if you're like close in age and like what is wrong with that? Like, to be honest, the player's making way more money than the coach. So it's Sabalenka's like, you're not taking advantage of Sabalenka. She's taking advantage of you. Like, let's be fair. But she's paying you. But with Rybakina, that was the speculation with Vukovic that he was maybe mean to her, or that there was an inappropriate relationship going, again, which I don't think is necessarily inappropriate. And then so Pam Shriver's like spouting out. She's like, the whole tennis community needs to come together to stand behind this and like push against this. Because he was just like, essentially, it came out that he had been banned, and he's still, I believe, serving a bit of a ban. Right. We don't know what exactly for. And then everyone's like, Pam, you're kind of projecting on this. Like, maybe just like and then a Rybakina comes out the next day and announces, I think in response to this, saying, I have Stefano still in my camp. And obviously, you would think, why would she allow that to be the case if she didn't like the guy, or he was abusing her, or whatever? Yeah. So I kind of like that. She's always seemed like a bit of a gangster to me. Like, she's a very quiet person from Kazakhstan. When she won Wimbledon, she got disrespected. The next week, she was like on court 16. Like, she won Wimbledon. She's made the Australian Open final before. And with Goran Ivanisevic and Stefano Vukovic, who I believe is a very good coach in her camp, I like that. So I think she's got some firepower. I put her at number 2. I still got Sabalenka as number 1 because she is the best player in the world on hard court to me. Yep. But I think that's a likely, well, actually, before I catch myself there, it's not a likely final. Well, it depends on how the draw goes, because they're not the 1-2 seed, so it's not guaranteed to be on the opposite side of the draw. They could play in the quarters or in the semis, but that's how I got it. What do you think about that?
I love it. I love that breakdown, and there's nothing more that fires me up, like you're saying, how Rybakina responded to all of that stuff just by keeping them on the team. And it's like everybody is trying to cry wolf like for her, and they have absolutely no idea what she actually feels or thinks about it. And it's like the best way to handle those types of crises, just like exactly what she did, sort of like lay low and then just come drop the bomb of like, I'm not about to let like all this public opinion change like the facts that I know and that I'm the most aware of in my camp. So
it's
I love
classic thing where I feel like people are like, people in today's world are looking for any opportunity to seem virtuous. I'm gonna go defend Elena Rybakina because I want to look like a good person.
Right.
And I'm sure you are a good person. Well, kind of, but like, she doesn't need your defending. I don't think she needs your defense, because that's kind of like a bit, you could think sexist in a way to think that she needs your defending. Like, if that was Roger Federer, are you going to go defend him? Right. No, she can defend herself. She's a woman. She makes millions of dollars. She's a gangster. She can speak for herself. And then, like I've heard from other coaches, like coaches who no one knows the name of, saying that Stefano Vukovic is like a very good coach and he's a very nice guy. So it's kind of crazy, just the speculation. I love the way she came out about that. So.
It would be hype if she did win, because she'd hold that trophy up with her team next to her, just like
Goran and Stefano. Like, yeah, sick.
I love it. Shall we get
yeah.
into the men?
Let's get into the men.
No pause.
No.
The dark horses.
Yes. Who are
There's
your
honestly
upset kings?
There's so many upset kings in the men's side.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, reminder for those of you just tuning in now, or who may have skipped ahead, it is an upset king. So these are guys that we think could cause upsets early on, and no one wants to play. We don't think that they're going to win them. That we're not thinking that they're contenders or dark horses to win the title. Although, crazy things have happened, but
They could happen.
If you think about it, a crazy thing on the men's side has not happened for a very, very long time.
Right.
Like someone outside the top 10 rank has not won a major since, I don't know, 2002 or 1. I think maybe since Gorny Ivanisevic, to be honest.
You might have just set it up.
Maybe
that might have just set the tone for the Australian Open for the men.
But it seems just as unlikely now as ever, to be fair, because of how good Alcaraz and Sinner are. Anyways.
But they're young. They're young.
They are young. They are young, but they're special. Okay, JP, who are your upset kings?
Man, there's like I said, I mean, I honestly kind of have a lot. We do have one similar one. Maybe it's recency bias.
You looked at my list?
What's that?
You looked at my list?
Well, it was on the document, bro.
I was trying to surprise you.
I know, but
okay. We're surprised. We're gonna surprise the viewers.
Yeah, it's a surprise for everyone.
That's right.
So, I guess let me just put it out there that that Dennis is on my list of dark horses because everybody knows how dangerous he is when he's healthy.
Yeah,
when he's confident, and he looks. I know we've only really seen him in 2 matches. One of the matches he had the virus he was dealing with, and then this next one he got a big win over a top 40 guy.
Yeah.
Nobody would want to see him.
And I need to add, he will have the slice bump, which is a real thing.
Right.
You come get interviewed on the slice. Typically, people's rankings extremely go up, especially for British players. I don't know. It's been like twice that Dan Evans came on the show, became British #1. Jack Draper came on the show, became British #1.
Right.
Just saying. So better with British players, but Canada's a Commonwealth country. I don't know how to say it. I think he's getting the slice bump. Sorry, back to you.
The slice bump for sure. My next one, I've been going back and forth about a lot of people, but I think I'm gonna rock with Nuno Borges.
Whoa.
Because I feel like his name is always like he's kind of always in the mix. He made I don't know if he made like the 4th round last year or something, but it's like he's always giving guys tough matches. And he's I need to pull him up actually see.
Portuguese.
Yeah, Portuguese, but how old is he? 27. So in that same he's kind of in his physical prime and peak. So I could see him making some noise. I would love to see where he is in the draw.
He's not seated, right, so he won't be seated. So he could play anyone first round. He could play Sinner or Alcaraz first round.
So yeah, I mean that's not a guy you'd want to see in your first round if you're one of those dudes. Like, man, I know what he's capable of. So
yeah,
I'll rock with those two.
I like them. I like those picks big time. My upset kings are. Gotta look it up here for a second. Giovanni and Pesci Pericard. I feel like that's almost goes without saying that no one wants to play him. But to confirm, he will be a seeded player. So, but again, like he could upset people in the round of the 3rd round or the 4th round. You don't want to see him. I don't know what else I have to say about him. Biggest serve in tennis history.
Right.
Seems to be getting way better every week with his all-court game. So just an absolute monster. No one wants to play him. And my second one is Denis Shapovalov for the same reasons you gave. He's obviously much better than his ranking suggests at this point. People are going to see he's got haters in the comment sections doubting him. He thrives off that, and he will have the slice bump. So I believe Denis Shapovalov is going to win some rounds of the Australian Open. I believe he's made the quarterfinals here before, so it's been one of his better tournaments. Quicker surface. I like him.
Do we think Fonseca could make some noise?
Oh, that's a good one too.
See, because I was thinking about him.
João Fonseca. I literally put that on the Slice Instagram. I said nobody wants to play this guy first round.
There you go.
No one wants to play this guy first round. And I had elite ATP coaches liking that story and a few other players. So they were agreeing because he just won. If you forget, he just won a challenger in Canberra, and he won the next gen ATP finals in Jeddah. So he's on a roll. He kind of just is winning a lot of matches, to put it mildly.
So definitely, yeah, he deserves to be in the list of upset kings, I think. And then are we ready to get into the top 5?
Yes, we are, JP. Who is your number 5 ranked power ranking player on the men's side of the Australian Open?
I gotta be honest, my list does look a little crazy.
I love it.
But number 5, I got Taylor Fritz. Listen, I talked about it at the top of the show.
Mm-hmm.
The guy finished the year. He played the best match he played all year. I know he lost to Sinner in that last one, but we saw the match.
What did everyone else? Everyone lost to Sinner,
and he put up the best match.
That's right.
He comes to United Cup. I know he dropped it to Felix. He kind of choked it away, but he bounced back and responded. They picked up a Team USA win. If Fritz is going to make another Grand Slam run, we know it's going to be on one of these hard courts. And I don't know if he has the magic for the U.S. Open this coming year. I think there's another American that will make that run. Okay. But the Australian Open, I could see Fritz making noise.
Wow. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that you picked him or put him in your top 5. He is the 4th seed, but these are our power rankings are like our 5 most likely player to win the title. And I've seen him feel like he's going to have when he kind of sets himself up for a good tournament, he kind of can get ahead of himself.
That's true.
But I don't know if he's done that. You're kind of just doing that for him. So that's not him. He's trying to lay low. Maybe he could do it. Okay. My number 5 is Daniil Medvedev. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably not very crazy for a lot of people based on who the 4 people I have ahead of him are. Daniil Medvedev, he's been in the final at the Australian Open before. This is his best hard court. Well, he's won the US Open, but I really think this is his best hard court to play on. And he's added some power to his game and bigger shot making. And that will, I think, he's in the final last year. So he's actually been in the final twice. Right. No, he's actually been in the final 3 times here, which is crazy. He's lost to Djokovic, but he has bad karma here. He's lost to Djokovic easily in 2021. And then he lost to Nadal from 2 sets up in 2022. He lost to Sinner from 2 sets up in 2024. So maybe that's he's got some bad juju here if he makes the final, but making the final is never a bad result. So yeah, I got Daniil Medvedev at number 5. I think that makes sense.
It does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. I would love to see him. I would love to see him lift a trophy, honestly. Like if I could, I don't know. I was going to say if I could handpick somebody to do it, it would be awesome to see him win it, but I wouldn't handpick him. He would be in my list of 5 guys.
Everyone loves Daniil. Like we'd all love to see him. He's just the greatest guy. He's going to be. We're good. I'm speaking this out now. We will interview him on the Slice this year.
Yes, in 2025, it's happening. The year of Medi.
Which is a very rare interview.
I would have loved to put Medvedev in my list. You could say me putting Fritz is like I'm taking Zverev out, and Fritz now has Zverev's place in these types of lists.
Holy crap! So who you got in number 4?
Number 4. This is when I feel that I'm crazy, but you'll see. Number 4, I have Djokovic.
Okay.
So
okay.
I know that 25th jacket has already been made. The shoes have been customized. Andy Murray, he probably requested before, hey, look, I'll coach, but I'm gonna need everything like suited and logoed out because I want to be a part of the 25th. So they have no other option than to do well and perform in this. Well, a lot of people
pressure,
think it be a press run, but yeah, I got Djokovic at 4.
So so I would say that. I mean, that's not crazy for me to put Djokovic in the top 5. Like
it's not, but when you hear my 3, you'll be like, bro, okay.
You've already used Fritz and you said Zverev's not in there, so this is okay. So he's got Djokovic at number 4. I will say, if I'm Andy Murray, I don't know if I'm wearing that jacket.
You have to, bro.
I don't know if I'm wearing that
just
jacket.
For the vibes.
I would coach Djokovic. I don't know if I'm wearing that jacket. Like to me, it seems like a bit of a cuck move. Like
you think so?
It seems like I I got 3 majors. I lost to this guy more times than I can count, and now I'm gonna be like winning majors for him in the box. I mean, The jacket just seems like too extreme for me. I don't know why.
See, that would be that's a vibe. Like if you're there, you got to be all in.
Yeah, you're probably right. So we'll see. We should make a bet on Betway, and we can take either side of that action and see if they do. I'll actually try and do that. That's funny. That's like a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. Which they
Right.
probably won't, to be fair. But at least in my guess. But okay, my number 4 is Sasha Zverev. So I got Zverev at number 4. I feel like I could have even put him higher because of the year he had. He's the second ranked player in the world. He is there for a reason. He has done well at the Australian Open before. He's got one of the best serves on tour, and I think on the hard courts, the fast hard courts, it makes a lot of sense for him to do well here. And I do still believe, I think I said at the end of the year to you, I think it's only a matter of time before he wins a major. He will win one in his career.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got him at number 4.
I love it. I agree. I do think he'll win one before it's all said and done for him. But number 3, I did previously mention him in this show.
You've said a lot of names. Now I'm scared.
I've said a lot of names.
I'm literally.
And there's also a lot of names that people are talking about in the Australian Open. Nick Kyrgios is back. Kokkinakis is playing well.
You scared me there. You scared me. I thought that's who your number 3 pick was. Okay.
No, but that is who everyone's talking about. They're talking about Kyrgios. They're talking about Kokkinakis. They're talking about Leighton Hewitt's son.
Talking.
But they're not talking about the one Australian that actually shows up each and every tournament. Number 3, I got Alex de Minaur. Look.
Oh my gosh.
It's the perfect storm for him in the Grand Slam. It's a home crowd. So wherever he plays, he will have the crowd with him. But the storylines are not behind him. And we saw him last year. He sniffed it. He sniffed multiple trophies last year, did not get to hold them. It would be poetic if the trophy that he holds is the Australian Open in 2025, based off of the adversity-filled year he had last year. So I got him at number 3.
I honestly wasn't thinking that you would go there, but I love that pick because it would be obviously poetic and incredible if he was to win the Australian Open in front of the home crowd.
Oh.
And the way he would do it would be like dogging these guys who have higher upsides than he does. Like if he went through Sinner or Alcaraz or both and won, it would be one of the most incredible results in the history of tennis. So yeah, I love that pick. Go out swinging.
Got to go out swinging. Who you got at 3?
I kind of love it. That kind of got me fired up. Not gonna lie,
Come on.
I love that. My number 3 is Novak Djokovic. Again, I feel like my 1 through 5 is what most people will have. The top 2 might screw people up a little bit, but Djokovic number 3, 24 majors. What do I have to say anything about who this guy is? No. So this is his most successful major. He's got Andy Murray on the bag. He is physically fit. Yes, he lost to Riley Opelka. Doesn't matter. It's Brisbane.
Right.
Doesn't matter. I'm sorry, Brisbane tournament. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. This is a 5-set match. It's going to be very interesting since he is the 8th seed, or he will be the 8th seed, which is insane, really. Sorry, he will be the 7th seed. He's going to play either Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, Alcaraz, or Fritz in the quarterfinal. I mean, he would have anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you think about it. If he was the number 1 seed, he'd play probably one of those guys in the quarterfinals anyways.
Right.
But obviously for him, the best draw is going to be to play Taylor Fritz in the quarterfinal. No offense, Taylor Fritz. He kind of owns him a little bit there, I think.
Yeah.
But if he has to play Alcaraz or Zverev or Sinner in the quarterfinals, that's tough. He played Sinner last year in the quarterfinals. Didn't work out too well for him. But 3rd seed, you got to put the respect on Djokovic's name at the Australian Open. That's why he is my number 3 power ranking heading into the tournament.
I love it. I'm
right.
glad to see the respect is there. I do think we would need to watch out if Kyrgios has a early exit. Don't be surprised if he hangs around the tournament and shows up to some of Jannik Sinner's matches somewhere in the stands, or maybe in the boxes if Djokovic invites him to his box, if he's playing Sinner in that quarterfinal.
He just has like a big inflatable needle. He's just holding and just controlling. Like he's burned the boats on like trying to seem like,
burning the boat.
Who's like not in the middle somewhere. He is fully on the side of Sinner is a doping cheater.
Yeah.
And I'm calling him out. So it has got to be super awkward in the locker room if their camps pass. Maybe not. They just kind of pass like 2 ships at night. I don't know,
Right.
but Sinner's not going to engage because he's like, he'd be like, sorry, remind me your name. Like, who are you? I don't know.
I can't hear you over my Gucci deal.
I have your ex-girlfriend, and I've won 2 majors and a number one in the world. And sorry, who? So it would be crazy, but anyways, that would be crazy if he gets back. I love that thought. Will he hang around much like Bernard Tomic did at a challenge?
Right.
Similar vibes. Cheater. He's like on the side.
That would be funny.
Would be nuts. Okay, this is the moment. This is really the moment for the rankings. Who is JP? Sorry, were you going to say something before this?
No, not at all.
Who is JP's number 2, and then therefore, I guess doesn't mean therefore number 1. Like it could be someone crazy it could be crazy, but
right. My craziness is over, but I kind of have a feeling that we're aligned on these ones.
Who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Jannik Sinner. And
same. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Same.
And I did not see this list of yours. Like I haven't looked at it. So I love that. I love that he's your number 2. And I just think I guess we can go we know who the number 1 is.
Yeah.
So the reason exactly. Reason I got him at 2 is because if they end up playing, I have no doubt in my mind that Alcaraz is beating him.
Yes.
And so I can't for that
reason. No doubt in your mind. That's actually a pretty strong way to put that.
No, yeah, I'm that confident. I truly think Alcaraz has Sinner's number. And I know they're young in their rivalry, but he's got it.
Damn. Well, this is crazy because this is great. They are again. No, the problem is they're ranked 1 and 3.
Oh,
they're going to be seeded 1 and 3. I think I had forgotten that. So that doesn't mean they can't be on opposite sides of the draw. They still can be. Yeah. There's like a 50% chance that they're going to be on the same side of the draw. So my prediction for this year, my hope was that we would see more of their rivalry in the finals of the biggest tournaments. We haven't seen that at all yet. So I'm praying that Sinner's or Alcaraz is on the bottom half of the draw. With Zverev, and then if they both make it, that'd be great. But again, I believe, but again, they could play in the semifinals,
right?
If they're on the same side, and then I'm taking Alcaraz in a 5-set format, even though this is likely Sinner's best surface. He's just gonna have to prove me wrong once, and then it'll be over. So if he beats him in 5 sets or 4 sets at a major, then it's like, okay, the veil's lifted. But Alcaraz is on a spooky level of swagger when it comes to 5-set matches. I think he's 9-1, or 9-0 when it goes 5 sets. I don't know, but at a major, he's just got that next level of gangsterness to him. So that's why I put Alcaraz ahead of Sinner. It's not even I think Alcaraz probably has a higher chance of losing early,
right?
As well.
100%.
But I don't know. It's interesting.
And it's there's got to be added juice to the fact that it's the only Grand Slam he hasn't won yet.
Oh yeah, so 3 Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So I mean, that leads. Do you have a prediction, a pre-tournament, pre-draw prediction? Who do you see actually winning this? I guess does it just go to Alcaraz because he's your number 1 pick?
Yeah, it'll go to Alcaraz, but like you're saying, it wouldn't surprise me if he does lose a 4th round.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would surprise me still, but I think it's just he's in the last year he can have a little bit more fluctuation between his highest level and his lowest level, or Sinner's right here, but I still think Alcaraz gets a little higher when he's at his best.
Yeah,
at the majors, at the 6 King Slam or these 3-set tournaments. that seems like a diss. It's not Italian fans. I love Sinner. He's unbelievable. I do think my pick is Alcaraz as well to complete the career Grand Slam and really set his career on a trajectory that's really no one else has been on, I think.
Transcendent figure in all of sports.
Well, yeah, because it's just he's the youngest ATP number 1 of all time. Unbelievable. So part of me is just I'm still just so stoked that we have these guys to follow up the big 3, because it's really it could have got depressing there for a minute. But yeah, I think Alcaraz is my prediction to win the Australian Open.
I love it. That's all I got. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Great show.
I love, to be honest, I'm gonna clip that and put that on we'll put that out because I love that pick for Alex Demonauer. There's something about patriotism that gets me going
I know.
when it's not the US. No offense. These smaller countries like Australia, like Canada, winning winning a slam at home would be absolutely crazy. Like a Frenchman winning Roland Garros would be
right.
like it's been so out of the question for so long.
And it's
for
like
the French.
I don't know much about like Australia's history or anything, but I would like to think that if they could put their culture of a country into a person, it would be Demonar. Like he's fast, he's scrappy, and somehow, some way, he's going to get it done and he's going to survive. Like Australia is just out there surviving as an island.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, you think about all the animals that are on that island; they're literally
Right.
surviving every day.
So let's go,
So
man.
I love that. Australia, just to fill you in, and maybe anyone else who hasn't been here, Australia has a very decorated tennis history. I would say,
Yeah.
almost out of any country, maybe Britain, but I think Australia tennis might be their number one sport. It literally could be. It probably isn't. Australian rules football or rugby or cricket. They have all these awesome sports. Australia's an awesome country. I lived there for 5 months after high school. But they have decorated tennis history. They obviously hosted the Australian Open, but Rod Laver, who's widely considered maybe the greatest of all time as well.
Right.
The Rocket Rod Laver. I hope I'm not getting this wrong. I know it is. He's Australian. I don't know why I was doubting myself there for a second. So he won the actual calendar year Grand Slam twice. He's the only player to ever win it once as a male. And then there's all Ken Rosewall, all these amazing Australian players who have had crazy history. And again, it's been a long time coming. Their best major hopes for a long time, let's just put it this way, have been Nick Kyrgios and Thanasi Kokkinakis. It's just love those guys, but it was not happening really.
They're not dialed in.
It was not happening, and they would admit that. Alex Demonauer winning would get me choked up, and I'm not even Australian.
Yeah, 100%.
It would be so crazy. But anyways, that's the show, I believe. Australian Open power rankings. I feel great about mine. How about you?
Feel amazing. I can't wait to rewatch this in 3 weeks when the Australian Open is over, and we'll see how we fared.
We'll do a graphic of it on the on our page, on our Instagram page. So if you haven't followed us there, please do. We'll just do Steven's picks, JP's picks, and then as they lose, just cross them out. I did that for a few tournaments. I had 10. It was brutal. After it was one tournament. It was after the third round, 7 of my 10 picks were out, and they were all the obvious picks.
Yeah,
but it's fun. So, anyways, that is the Slice Tennis Podcast presented by Betway. Check out the Betway feed. Subscribe to the Slice if you haven't already, and leave your thoughts below on the power rankings heading into the Australian Open. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned for daily coverage during the Open and our preview show that should come out Wednesday night in North America, because the draw comes out Thursday in Australia, and that's how it works if you didn't know.
Good deal.
See you next week, guys.